There's a few blue jays in the spruce tree. There were 3 of them in the apple tree here, but I scared them, and I don't know if you can see them bouncing around in there. Maybe if I sit down, they'll come back.
They're probably just a little camera shy.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead and talk about your book. I made some, this is, oh my gosh, that seed is cold. This is green bell pepper, and I put some turmeric in it.
What's this one?
That's carrot chai, and I stuck some coconut cream in it for you to make it more palatable.
Okay.
So your black pepper dose and your ginger dose for the day is in that carrot chai.
Oh my god, okay, ginger. Okay, I gotta get ready.
It's good.
Okay. So I talk about this, eh? Shootin' and Smiling. So we're gonna be shooting the breeze and smiling about Brett. This is called Brett. Shootin' and Smiling. The Great Bretsky, as some people call him, or the Golden Brett. And this was written, I think, 1991, when the guy was in the heyday of his career. It doesn't tell the whole of his career, but dude made it, like his dad, to the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's their only father-son combination to do that. And I didn't realize, he always seemed to have a serious demeanor out there. But apparently he's a real jokester. His dad was very personable, maybe not so personable with this guy's mom, but because they ended up getting divorced under rather trying circumstances, more for his mom than for his dad. But his uncle, Bobby Hull's brother, apparently has a very good sense of humor. And the guy's name's Dennis Hull. This guy's got a good sense of humor, it's just like one-liners all through. It's a fun sort of read. Not the greatest hockey player to ever come down the pike, not even the greatest of his generation, but he's honest about that. He was a contemporary of Wayne Gretzky. So Gretzky was way better plus-minus player. This guy wasn't the greatest plus-minus. In other words, he didn't play defense that well, but very good offensive player. And it was funny, Calgary Flames, local team.
You didn't put the water bottle in.
No, I didn't notice.
I'll go get it.
Okay. Anyway, they drafted him, and they didn't believe in him. Here's what I believe in drafting. You draft guys who can pass. You can draft guys that can shoot. Now, oftentimes, I'll give you an example. Montreal Canadiens, they had several draft picks in the year, I think it was something like 1978, where Mike Bossy was available and was picked by a New York Islander. Something like 17th or 18th overall, something like that. Canadians had something like a pick, 10 picks above that, maybe 8, or even, I don't think it's up to 4th. They picked a guy called Mark Napier. Napier is a pretty good skater. And he was a good puck carrier, but not a good passer, not really a great shooter. And they should have picked Mike Bossy. Mike Bossy's maybe even a better sniper than Brett Hull. But you pick guys who can shoot. You can pick guys that can pass. And if you want defensive players or something like that, or good two-way players, you pick guys who can skate. But never pick guys who are puck hogs, who are good carrying the puck but not good passing statistics. You get guys who are puck hogs like Bobby Orr, so long as their knees last, or Wayne Gretzky, who can pass. That's good. But if they're just puck hogs and good at carrying the puck around, forget it. A lot of American players like Tony Granato and Jeremy Roenick were good at that. It's a bad habit they picked up from the Russians. The Russians had this attitude: you get guys out on the wings who are like wingers in soccer. The big trouble is, wingers in soccer don't have to worry about getting pinned up against the boards and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't really work. I played floor hockey. I played lots and lots of soccer, and it's a very different sort of thing. So that's one of the reasons why the Russians would not do well against, let's say, Scotty Bowman coach teams or something like that. punch him like coach teams, because they just said, take away the middle, let them piddle around on the edge of the boards and stuff like that, and it's eventually got to come to the middle, and because they didn't have the shots from out there back then. So nowadays they've trained, the Ruskies have, Ovechkin's got a shot, but maybe the best goal scorer of all time, led the NHL in goal scoring 8 different times, and before him the record holder was this guy's dad, Bobby Hull. So it's, if you like a good fast-paced read and you kind of like hockey, but like if you guys like Stu Grimson or stuff like that, and think Ty Domi's the second coming of Satan or something like that, and that's good. Forget it. This guy was not a fighter, and he boasts about it. This is when it comes to fighting, this is my kind of hockey player. Forget that fighting. Like who was it? Conn Smythe or some guy with the Toronto Maple Leafs says, "You can't beat him in the alley, can't beat him on the ice." Oh yeah, like it wasn't Toronto that won all the championships. It was Montreal, and they'd beat you on the ice. And they just, you go. We're not meeting you in the alley. We'll be in the bus up front. Forget it, you idiots. You can get go beat up on some derelicts or something like that. What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, James was very happy reading this book because he kept telling me about it while he was reading it. He said that he was that this fellow is a lot like James.
A bit like me. Well, quite a bit like me, because apparently in Calgary they couldn't stand him. Well, even before he hit Calgary, it was a coach who would eventually be in Calgary, a guy called Terry Crisp. I always think of Terry Crisp as being a Philadelphia Flyer, and they were called the Broad Street Bullies. Crisp did win the Stanley Cup, and it was after they traded him. They got some pretty good material from St. Louis to get them over the hump and get them the Stanley Cup. So it wasn't necessarily a bad trade, but Brett Hull was saying they couldn't stand him. Terry Crisp couldn't stand him, and a lot of guys in Calgary couldn't, because what was it? He was always smiling when he was playing. I'm not sure if he smiled that much, but maybe he was smiling inside. And then in practice, he was singing. And I sing a lot around the house and stuff like that. I would if out in real life, but I think people would not take. They would take it amiss. They would take it too kind. And then he was saying he was proud that one year he had like only one fight or stuff like that. This guy's not like Don Cherry material, but how many times did he plays piano. How many times did Don Cherry win the Stanley Cup? 0. And was he coaching flunky teams? Well, when he coached a flunky team, Colorado Rockies, they were on the rocks. He couldn't do anything with them. He had some good teams set up with him for him by a guy called Harry Sinden, and he couldn't win the Stanley Cup even with that. So what does dude know? He knows nothing. Forget about beating people up in the alley. You actually got to be able to skate, shoot, and pass, and you do it on the ice. It doesn't matter how, like I've seen at least one study that indicated it looked to be pretty good. It just was showing the stats. It used to be, if you won a fight, for your team would get all inspired and win the game. And if anything, it's a little less. It's about 50-50. It doesn't really matter if you pound someone out or you get pounded out or stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I guess when it comes down to it, if you want to watch a good fight, then why not watch mixed martial arts?
Yeah, or boxing,
or whatever.
Or
if you want to watch hockey,
if you want to watch a fake fight, WWE. Sure. There's all sorts of stuff available. Sumo wrestling might be available. Try to get a feed on the internet from Japan or whatever. Maybe they've got it here now. There's all sorts of stuff available. Watch Olympic wrestling. There's all sorts of stuff. If you like that stuff, go watch it. But hockey's about speed. It's really about speed.
There they are now. Do you see them?
Holy smokes, they're all around. They must see. St. Louis Blues, Blue Jays. If we were doing a Toronto Blue Jays thing, they'd be right up here, front row center.
Well, they
They'd
were.
be-
When,
yeah,
it's, you know, I should have recorded while they were in the apple tree, but then I scared them.
yeah.
And now they haven't come
I
back
noticed
yet.
one the other day, but you saw 3. This is impressive.
3 in the apple
yeah.
at once.
Yeah, the word must be getting out about these.
But I
duck
don't know
dinners.
how many there are around
Well,
here.
actually, you know, the thing that's really scaring them is is that a magpie in
magpie there
yeah, messing
too,
around?
yes.
And magpies
Might
like
be them.
chowing down on other birds and
I don't
stuff
know if
like
they'd
that.
want to mess with a blue jay.
I wouldn't want to. Blue jays are pretty big.
Pretty big.
But
Anyway, I was going to say, like, I've almost finished my mug of carrot chai, and boy, they're really chatty.
yeah,
Anyway.
well, that magpie's not moving, you know,
Yeah.
like he's, well, you heard him calling, right? I don't know if he's calling for help or whatever, but, yeah.
But anyway, I've
outnumbered by
almost
these
finished
Blue
this
Jays.
huge mug of carrot chai. And basically, this had, what I do is I boil the cinnamon sticks, black peppercorns, cardamom pods for, I don't know, however long it takes me to get the carrots juiced and stuff. So maybe 5-10 minutes while I'm washing, peeling. And in just like a little bit of water. So the water turns like this color almost like coffee. And then I strain that out and I put in my carrot juice and my ginger juice. And I just heat it so that it's just starting to steam. I don't boil the carrot. And then it turns out really pretty. Now James doesn't look so great because his has coconut cream mixed in. It's kind of lumpy, but he'll probably like the taste of it more.
Yeah, not as lumpy as this. I went to
Yeah.
put the
that-
spoon in here. I'm still waking up. Why won't it go in? Yeah, it's a conspiracy.
But anyway,
it's all
this is an
frozen up.
awesome way to drink down your black pepper and cinnamon for the day and ginger with some carrot. It's very easy. And it's easy to go through a lot of carrots this way, too. Now, I did read one book that was talking about, they were trying to point out that juicing wasn't really healthy, because if you juice things like carrots, well, it's so full of sugar, and then you're all wired and you feel great for a little while, and then you're crashing after that, right? But you know, sometimes it's hard. Wow, you got that down really fast.
Yeah.
James
So I
does not like the taste of chai.
Well, it's it's mainly the ginger. Yeah.
Yeah, well, ginger's hot.
Yeah, it
And there's
actually
black
wasn't.
pepper in there.
It's got an aftertaste that's fairly sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, with regular chai, you often put honey in it. And if you're going to have that, this, I don't put any, there's no caffeine or anything in there. So maybe it picks me up a little bit. I mean, are you accustomed to having chai with caffeine, with the, like, with the actual tea in it or whatever? Then you're using that as a pick-me-up. And maybe that's not as healthy as this, right? Although I have read that that cinnamon decreases the effectiveness or whatever of caffeine anyway, but I don't know. But lately I've been drinking coffee for a while, actually, and so I got, this cup was full of coffee. Well, not the cup, but the coffee was given to me this morning from the Salvation Army Furniture Depot, and I'm very thankful. But I honestly, if you're accustomed to drinking caffeine for a pick-me-up, well, I think this is probably a better alternative. You know, I can't see how drinking a bunch of carrots with all these wonderful spices is really bad for a person. I think it's good. And, well, I might think differently when I'm actually eating healthy again, but for now,
Well, this is pretty healthy. This,
yeah,
of course,
that
you're
one.
not eating, but
No,
you ate
I'm
it
not.
yesterday, right?
Yeah, I haven't eaten yet today.
Yeah.
I've just drank. But,
This is a awesome spread here.
yeah. Well, it's great that you like having the parsley with gravy.
Well,
Because
gravy
then-
isn't great, but yeah, it makes parsley edible. So
because it's a way for me to get parsley into you.
Yeah. Well,
And quite a lot of it. I mean, that's about
I
a
ate a
quarter
lot
of
of
the
it
cup
yesterday,
there
and it
in
actually
the
was
serving.
tasty. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that. If you're gonna,
Let's eat around
if
with
I have
gravy.
to make you a little bit of gravy, and my gravy
Yeah.
doesn't have any fat in it, so whatever.
There we go. See,
Not that it
and it
matters.
still is
I mean,
tasty. It does have like beef bouillon or something like that in it.
Yeah, well, yours I made it
Yeah.
with beef bouillon.
But sometimes
because
you
we
make
were
it with
given
veggie
that.
stuff, and it
I
tastes
make it
to
for
me.
myself with that.
It just tastes the same. So
Well, it depends on what kind of vegetable broth
Okay.
you use.
yeah.
But the Better Than bouillon is good. It's a good brand. It tastes good. And anyway, I don't know if they still do, but I used to get their mushroom Better Than bouillon, and that was tasty for gravy. But
Yeah, that would be very good.
it was good.
That tastes much.
But I don't know where to get that anymore. I don't know if they make it. So I just get the vegetable one when I get it. But we were given the beef one, and James said he'd eat it. So
Yeah, it's the texture of meat that really bugs me.
yeah.
Always has.
But honestly, I'm gonna do a thing on gravy, just gravy, one of these days to show you how you can make gravy very healthy, and show you how different broths are made, and so you kind of know why. Like, honestly, don't buy broth ever. Don't. Just if you're gonna buy, like I used to buy Better Than bouillon a lot because it's easy, but a jug of broth is really, you're paying for water, and I don't know.
Flavored water, I guess. You're right.
Yeah. It's very easy to make your own broth if you want to. Like, for example, I peeled a whole lot of carrots today. Now, I could have made some broth with those carrot peels if I'd wanted to. And if you're buying vegetable broth, do you think they're making it out of peels? Honestly, just think about it, right? Why wouldn't they? So, I'll talk about that another day though, because my butt's cold.